Ingredients la vandittu website la potirken paarenga. So it's been soaked, and I'll just show you how to grind it. Alright, it's gonna be ground coarsely, so I'll show you how it's ground. Here we have about 1 cup of Chana Dal soaked and drained, and to that I've added small green chilies, 3 of those, and I'm gonna add just a bit of water, just a bit, just so that you get this kind of texture. It's already been ground, but I'm just giving you an example of how it should look. So you're not gonna add a lot of water, but then if you don't add water, it won't grind at all. So that's why you gotta add as low as possible. And it's not a bad idea to shake the blender as it's grinding, but be careful. If you don't know how to do that, don't do that. When you shake that, the things that are stuck on the sides eventually fall in, and they get ground too. So I had not added any water then, so I'm going to add a little more. I mean, just a little, not a little more, just a little. This is the first time I'm adding water. That's about a tablespoon of water. And there's nothing conventional about doing this. A lot of people wouldn't recommend you doing this, but then, I've been doing this for the past year and a half, actually 2 years, and nothing has happened to my mixer, so trust me, if you do try it, it'll work. Okay, that wasn't advisable. So there you have your coarsely ground base mix. You transfer it to the container. Okay, to this base mix, we're gonna add a bunch of stuff. First thing is salt, of course. Be careful about how much salt you're adding. And for each cup of dal, it's recommended that you add 3 chilies, green chilies that is. We have about 2 cups, so I'm gonna add 6 green chilies, but we already have added red chilies, so be careful about how much spice you're adding. If you don't like spicy stuff, really spicy stuff, don't add that much. And like I said, this is a spinach masal vada, so I'm gonna chop the spinach really fine. You see, your spinach has to be chopped like this, really fine. Cilantro. I don't have fresh cilantro, so I'm just gonna add my frozen cilantro. And some curry leaves. See, curry leaves are really massive, so I'm gonna cut it and put it. Okay, to this you're gonna add some ginger and lots of onion. Red onion is preferable, but then I won't empty my white onion because it's been there for a long time, but it's better to use red onion. So I'll use both actually. Lots of it. I like a lot, so I'm gonna add a lot. But once again, it is gonna be a problem when you're gonna try to form it into shapes, so be careful about how much onion you're adding. I'm adding it slowly because as it falls down, I get a rough measure of what's in there, so it's a little loose, but it's alright because that's the texture we prefer, because we're gonna add a little rice flour. Rice flour helps in holding it all together. It's completely unconventional to add corn flour for vada, but then I do add it sometimes. Sometimes. It's all up to my mood. I mean, because corn flour gives this extra crispiness, so if you like your vada really crisp, you can add about this much of corn flour. Maybe more, maybe a little more. Just taste it though. What's missing is obviously fennel seeds, sombu. So you're gonna add, that's about 1 teaspoon. Add another. That's 2. Okay, that should be enough. Just a bit. Yeah, that should do. Okay, maybe a bit more. Well, that's what you do. I mean, you add it gradually. Okay, you can just try with one. That's how it's supposed to be, you know. So the oil's the right temperature right now. I'm adding a few more optional stuff like coriander powder and hing. Hing is actually not that optional. I mean, it depends. That is, each recipe has its own variation, and one of them is adding hing. Okay, this has got this nice brown color, the right texture. So I'm just going to drain it and taste it and see what's missing and what's doing alright. It's going to be hot, obviously, so let's see, the first vada. Hot, soft, crispy. It's good. You just need to add a little more salt. That's about it. Okay, all changes have been done, so I'm just gonna go on the fly. I mean, if you're new to this, don't go on the fly. You know, make these formations in a separate plate. Wait for some time. Careful. Actually, I'm saying this to myself. See, when the oil is hot, it's so light, so it just easily spills over, even if you drop it like this from the side. The flatter you go, the crispy it gets, so you can change the texture. I think that's about enough. That's about 5 or 6. No, 5. 5 should be enough for this size of a pan. I'm going to take the vada out. See, I have this container instead of having, you know, a wooden basket with tissues and all that fancy stuff. What I do is use this, and all the leftover oil, the oil that drains from these vadas, are going to go into this pan, which I'm going to use later on with oils. I'm going to cook. So how is that? So you can see the extra oil is going to go down, and it's not going to be wasted because I'm going to use this pan to make curry immediately in the next hour or so. So anyway, just do it again. See, that's the thing. Even though it wasn't all this brown and golden brown, this delicious color when you took it out of the oil, it eventually gains its color because, you know, it remains hot, and that heat does turn, you know, what seems to be white and what seems to be, you know, creamy white to delicious brown, golden brown. In either way, you know, I'm gonna freeze it. You know, I'm not gonna have all this today. I mean, I'm not making this for a party. I'm just making this for myself. I'm a selfish bastard. So what I'm gonna do is freeze this, and I'm just gonna reheat it, not in the microwave, in the oven, regular oven, not in the large oven. If you wanna waste electricity, yeah, sure, you can, but I have the small toaster, so what I'm gonna do is just reheat 2 of these every day for the next week. It goes really well with rasam. நம்மூரில் ரசவடை ஒன்று இருக்கே, பட்டை கலப்பும் அது தெரியல. ரசவடைன்றது ட்ரெடிஷ்னல் இப்படி தான் பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு தெரியல எனக்கு, பட் எங்கள் மாமா வீட்டில் பண்ணுவாங்க. இந்த வடையவே வந்து ரசத்தில் ஊற வச்சு சூப்பராக இருக்கும் சாப்பிட்றதுக்கு. There, that's your vada with a relatively neat background. That's my floor. I'll just take a cling photo now.